Hello vinyl community, it's Matt here again, and it's another Beatles video. I'm afraid I've got a big stack to show you guys. Yeah, hope you guys don't mind, but yeah, we'll get into it in just a second. If you'd like to subscribe, I always appreciate everybody who subscribes, and if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And just a good way to stay up to date and see all the latest videos. So let's dive into it, I guess. There's quite a lot. These are in no particular order. I've just bunched them all together. So yeah, let's get started. This could be a long one. First up, we have the digital remaster of Help, released in 2012. Of course, this is based on the 2009 digital remasters. And I mentioned before, I know I had a video that was dedicated to these digital remasters, that if I saw them, I was gradually picking them up, and I saw this in a store, and I was pretty sure I didn't have it, and it turned out that I didn't. So glad to pick that up. Next up, put this here. Next up, we have the early Beatles. This plus the one I just showed you, the only two that I haven't listened to out of this whole stack. But yeah, I originally ordered this a little while ago, and it came and it was sealed, but it was all damaged. It had a huge scratch on it, and there were loads of weird marks on the vinyl. It had a big dent in it. It looked like somebody had maybe put something on top of it, something heavy. So I got a refund for that. It was from eBay, and I found another really nice copy, not sealed, but that's okay. So I've been gradually trying to get some of the US albums, and there's a couple more coming up in this stack in a minute. But so this essentially is really the Please Please Me album. I think it's missing. It's missing. I saw her standing there. Twist and Shout is on here. It might be missing one other song, which I think the reason is those were included on Introducing the Beatles. No, I'm sorry. Those were included on Meet the Beatles. Capitol's first US Beatles album. Next up, we have this was a bit of a grail. This was a grail. This is a UK first stereo pressing of Sgt. Pepper, and this is an amazing sounding record, and I got a really good deal on it too. I got to show you guys. This was just beautiful. Came with the insert and everything. Here it is. It's just absolutely like flawless to look at it, and this was a really good deal on eBay. I think even with shipping, it was still pretty cheap. And just gonna put the record back in. Yeah, even with shipping, it was still pretty cheap. And this is easily the best copy of Sgt. Pepper that I now have. It's just amazing. Especially when you bear in mind that, again, this is the first pressing. So this was released in 1967. So we're going back 54 years. That's a long time. And you know, even in between the tracks, there's barely a crackle. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I was really excited to pick this up. And I didn't know, I knew it was supposed to be in excellent condition when I bought it, so I knew that, but you never know, right, when it's an eBay purchase until you get it. And I got it, and I looked, and I was like, man, this looks really good. And sure enough, it's just incredible. Next up, we have, let me see, which one should I do? Oh, this was another grail. This was sort of the opposite, but I'll show you guys. Okay, this is a UK first pressing of Abbey Road with the misaligned apple right there. I need to give a shout out to Jamie Spinks, who recommended this to me. He sent me the link on eBay, and it was a UK eBay seller. It wasn't listed on the US eBay site because they hadn't listed the US as being a country they would ship to. And I thought to myself, you know, I'll take a chance on it. It was pretty cheap. If it turns out the seller refuses to ship to the US, I can have them ship to family in the UK. Not a problem, and we'll figure it out from there. But it turned out that they were willing to ship to the US, so that was great. And when I said this is kind of the opposite of the Sgt. Pepper one, this one was not in as nice a condition as I hoped. There's a lot of marks on the record. It actually does play through completely both sides without skipping, so that's fine. It's pretty noisy, but you know, I have quite a few copies of Abbey Road, so I'm not too bothered about it. And you know, there was always a chance that this was never going to be kind of a play copy. It was always going to be a bit of a collectible, and the main reason I got it was just for that misaligned apple. Really, the apple itself isn't misaligned. It's the rest of the shot has been pulled in, and so it makes the apple look misaligned. But yeah, these often go for pretty good money. This was really cheap because it wasn't advertised on eBay as having the misaligned apple. You know, most sellers realize what they've got, and so they'll put either in the description or in the name, in the title, they'll put misaligned apple, that type of thing, and those usually go for quite a lot of money. This, I'm not sure if anyone else bid on it. This was really cheap, and I took a chance on it. It's got a spine split to it, if you guys can see that through the plastic a little bit, kind of, yeah, kind of right there. So that's unfortunate, but like I said, it was cheap. I got it for the apple, misaligned apple, more than anything, so, you know, that's okay. Got another copy of Abbey Road here. This is the digital remaster, because this was one that I was never finding anywhere. You know, most of the others I found in, I think I found a couple in Best Buy, I found several in record stores. This one I never saw anywhere, so I had to buy this on eBay. But again, this was the based on the 2009 digital remaster. Sounds really good. It wasn't brand new, but it was still in the shrink with the hype sticker. This was an eBay purchase, so, and again, it was a good price. So happy to get that. We've got another US one here, and that is Beatles 65, Capitol Records. As it suggests, it was released in 1965. It's made up mostly of songs from Beatles for Sale, as well as I Feel Fine and She's a Woman, so we've got a single release there too. And I think everything else, oh, and I'll Be Back is on here too, which that's from A Hard Day's Night. So yeah, but mostly stuff from Beatles for Sale is on here. And I quite like this one. It's pretty good. Next up, we have a mono copy of With the Beatles. This is a digital remaster, a direct metal master, which was digitally remastered as well, from the late 80s. And you know, it's one of those ones. I spotted it on eBay. I've been trying to get some of these DMM releases because they do sound really good, even if they've been, like in this case, digitally remastered, particularly using you know 80 16-bit digital remastering, maybe not quite as good. But so yeah, it's got a little box here. You guys can see that. You might not be able to make out what it says very well, but it says this album has been direct metal mastered from a digitally remastered original tape to give the best possible sound quality. Well, that's a little bit you know, a matter of opinion whether it's the best sound quality, but yeah, it was interesting that it was in mono though. Next up, we have, this is a UK one EMI box pressing of A Hard Day's Night. This would have been released in 1969 because the album itself was released in 64, but this pressing is from 69. This is the only one of the EMI one boxes that I have on this label. So and it's called that because it's got one EMI box, and the later pressings in the 70s and 80s had an additional EMI box at the top. And the nice thing about these is that in a lot of cases, maybe even most, I don't know, you're actually getting, like if you check, if I look in the dead wax here, it's EX 126-1, so you're actually getting first cuttings of these, which is kind of nice. And yeah, again, this was an eBay purchase. I spotted it and got pretty lucky with the price and everything. So I was curious. I wanted to know how it sounded. It sounds really good, which you sort of expect. You know, it's got the -1 stamp on it, but yeah, really nice pickup there. Next up, we have this is another late 80s direct metal master. This is of Help in stereo. It's got, again, the little box back here. Not too much else to say about it. It sounds decent, and you know, that's good enough. Next up, we have a couple of grails right here. Really, these were an amazing price. I got the red and the blue, steel sealed, on red vinyl and blue vinyl. I'll show you one of them. pull out one of the red ones here. You can see it right there. So that's really neat. Now, these are digital remasters from the early 90s. I think from like 93, something like that. But these normally, especially still sealed, go for quite a bit of money still. And they were 25 bucks each. And I thought that was just an amazing deal, to be honest. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this back in the shrink right here. Or back in the... There we go, back in the plastic. There we go. And the blue one, I'll show you guys the vinyl here as well. Get that out right there. Very cool. So yeah, and like I said, steel sealed. There's a little bit of bumping, a little bit of wear to both of them actually. The very top of the spine on both, probably just from how they've been stored over the years. But yeah, normally you'd expect to pay more than that for just one of them, especially still sealed. So I was really pleased to pick up both of them for that kind of price. Next up, we have another Drake Metal Master, Sgt. Pepper. I think I showed one of these in a previous video recently, and for one reason or another, I kind of accidentally ended up ordering another one. But there is a label variant on this. I don't get to bore you guys with the details, but the one that I showed you guys before did not have an Apple logo down here. It was just Parlophone. So I think at some point there was a little transition made with the publishing. But other than that, I think the record's identical pretty much. Beatles 1. This has been a whole long saga. I had one which had a big scratch on it, which was brand new off of eBay. Very rude eBay seller who didn't want to give a refund, but he actually eventually did. I also got a horribly warped copy from Best Buy, and I was like, what is it with these US pressings? So I finally got a UK pressing from eBay, and it was steel sealed, and it's just beautiful. Very nice flat vinyl. Like I said, both the US copies I bought previously were really badly warped, and the one had a big scratch on it. So this is the D'Agostini pressing, but it is made in the UK by the looks of it. Well, printed in EU, that's what it says. But yeah, finally get hold of that. A couple more US ones coming up. We have something new. This was a little bit of a desperate, it's one of the weaker Capitol albums, maybe even the weakest, honestly. It's pretty poor, to the point where they had to include the German version of I Want to Hold Your Hand, which kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit by this point. I mean, Capitol were just sort of a money-making machine, particularly when it came to the Beatles in the 60s, and sort of a voracious appetite for any new Beatles material. In some cases that led to some interesting things where the US might get a slightly different mix of a song. I think that happened with a couple of instances, because they would be sent, advanced mixes, and then maybe in the UK those would be tweaked a little bit before final release in the UK. But yeah, there's something new. It's a collection of, it's just a mishmash of stuff from, I think there's a few tracks on here from A Hard Day's Night. Yeah, we've got a couple of EP releases as well on here. Slow Down and Matchbox, those are both on an EP in the UK. So it's really, it's not great, to be honest with you, but it was still in the shrink, and yeah, I didn't have it, and trying to fill out the US collection. So speaking of the US collection, speaking of A Hard Day's Night, finally get hold of a US copy, and I quite liked this, actually. I was surprised. I got it just to have it, to be honest, again, to try to fill out the US Capitol collection, and I was pleasantly surprised. Even the instrumental stuff, I liked it. Like Ringo's theme, there's an instrumental version of the title track, plus an instrumental version of I Love Her and I Should Have Known Better. And though I enjoyed those, I thought they were pretty nice. And I don't remember where I got this. Probably at eBay. It could have been a record store, but anyway, yeah. It's not an original pressing. It's a later pressing from like the 80s or something. Speaking of later pressings, we have a picture disc of Sgt. Pepper right here. I just listened to this morning. and this is from the late 70s. It's on Capitol, and I got this along with picture disc of Band on the Run from the same eBay seller, both brand new, and you know, I got them because they were cheap, to be honest with you. But I was pleasantly surprised with the sound quality. There's even a warning, maybe on both of these. Actually, I don't. Oh, yes, there is. Yeah, there is one on here too. So it says like sound quality may not be comparable to conventional edition. Both of them have that warning on them. But you know what? It wasn't bad. Probably helps that they were brand new, so they hadn't been played. And yes, they were pretty noisy between the tracks, but once the music started, it was acceptable. You know, it wasn't terrible by any means. And I love that cover of Band on the Run. I thought that was great. And I tell you what else I like too. I love the font they used on the back of this. I've seen this used elsewhere too. There's a George Harrison compilation which came out, I think, around the same time, 76, something like that. That has this same font as well. All right, next up we have, one second, German pressing of With the Beatles. I love the cover. I love the green on this. I've seen a couple of people on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent earlier. I mentioned that Jamie Spinks had recommended that misaligned Apple press of Abbey Road. So look below in the description box, and I will put a link to his channel. And I'm sorry I forgot about that. But anyway, yeah, with the green right here, really cool. I really like the font too. It's awesome. Look at that. I couldn't tell you what it all says except for the track titles because it's in German. But this is on the blue Odeon label right here. Yeah. And I just listened to this a couple of nights ago, and it sounds fantastic. There was a moment, and I had headphones on when I was listening to it. I thought somebody had come into the room. Like, the stereo separation was so wide on, I think it was some strange, so it was like Please Mr. Postman or something, right at the end. And I kind of looked up, I was kind of startled, but it was part of the song. And so yeah, this had been on my wish list for a little while. You know, honestly, partly because I just love the way the sleeve looks with that green at the top. But the fact that it sounds really good too is definitely a pleasant bonus. And it's got a little import sticker on the bottom right here. So that's kind of cool. Next up, we've got a digital remaster of Revolver. This does have a punch through it, unfortunately, but other than that, it was still sealed. This was from the same seller that I got that very first early Beatles from that I had to get a refund on. But the copy of Revolver was fine. So yeah, I was just curious about it, and sounds pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. Next up, we have, oh, here we go. Okay, another version of Sgt. Pepper. Now, this is the same direct metal master that I showed you guys earlier. Except remember the one earlier had the Apple logo in the bottom. This one does not. I didn't know it when I got it. It was an accident. I didn't mean to order one of them. Well, it's one of those things, you know, where I stuck in a number of bids, like kind of lowballing, thinking, well, if I win one, then that's great, and ended up winning both. They were cheap, but still, I didn't mean to get 2 copies. But anyways, I guess I'll keep both just because of that little variation. I think the labels are the same on the records, or they're at least almost identical. But yeah. Next up, we have picture disc again of Help. Now, this is a bootleg, or I guess I should say a pirate copy. The original one of these is a Dutch press. Well, this is a Dutch pressing too, but in Holland, this was released in, it might have even been a 70s reissue, in a regular sleeve with this Shell Corporation logo behind it. And since then, this has been bootlegged or pirated onto a picture disc, and here's the back. It's just like the back of the Help album right there. And but even this pirated version doesn't seem to come up for sale too often. And I happened to see it on eBay and pounced on it because you know what? And it actually sounds all right. It's not bad, especially for a picture disc. Next up, we have, this is a German copy of the White Album. This one is actually numbered. You guys are not going to be able to see the number, I don't think, because this is, yeah, this is like a 70s pressing, I believe. And they used, the numbers are stamped in instead of, they don't use ink, they're just stamped into the sleeve. So this is number 196468. The labels are a bit different. It is on the Apple label, but you'll see a little bit different here. You've got this. I don't know if this is an acronym, G-E-M-A, in the box there, or if it's Gemma or Gemma or what it's supposed to be. You find that on some of these German pressings, but yeah, interestingly, the all rights of the producer text is in both English and German around the edge. So that's kind of cool. And as I remember, this one I think did come with the this one did come with the poster and with the photos of the Beatles. So that's always a nice bonus, you know, because that does affect the value if it's complete versus not complete. Next up, we have a picture disc, Sgt. Pepper. And this is the Giles Martin stereo remix from 2017. So I do have the 2LP version of this, but I wanted to grab the picture disc too. Sounds pretty good. And the next three are kind of interesting ones. The last three. This is Revolver, but it's not any old Revolver. You see, it says the alternate Revolver right there. And this is a series. Most of these are US versions. There's a lot of like US mixes on here, but there's also a couple of versions that are different takes. Like Taxman is a different take. So is Rain. Well, right. Okay, Rain. I should say that Rain and Paperback Writer are on here. Although those were recorded during the Revolver sessions in 1966, those were not included on Revolver. The Beatles kind of got into this practice of not wanting to have single releases be on their albums, which was a complete opposite of how Capitol did things in the US, where Capitol very much went out of their way to put single releases on albums because they thought it would help shift the albums. But anyway, they did include Paperback Writer and Rain on this alternate. And by the way, this is a bootleg. This is not any kind of official release. Let's see. So Paperback Writer is a different take. So it's Got to Get You Into My Life. Tomorrow Never Knows is just a basic track. So is For No One. It says monitor mix. So that's before they added some of the like sounds and things. But I'll show you guys the label. It is on heavy vinyl. It's on Parlophone. Interestingly, the label does not mention Rain or Paperback Writer. It just has the regular running order for Revolver. So that's kind of a little quirk, I guess. But I was so curious about this that I just thought, you know, I just gotta get it and give it a listen. And it doesn't seem to come up on eBay too often. What comes up more often is the picture disc, which goes for quite a bit of money. This was a lot cheaper. So yeah, glad to get that. Two more left to go. A couple of sort of grails. This is a UK release, numbered version of the White Album. It's a stereo copy. Now, this would have been, I believe, the second reissue from about 1970, 71. And you can tell from the way that it's stamped. It's a low number, but not really, because they like started the count over. But this is number 168711. You guys can see that right there. I won't take the records out. It's on the usual Apple labels. Unfortunately, this didn't come with the poster or any of the photo inserts. I did have a spare poster left over from a White Album that didn't quite work out, so I put that in there. But anyway, last but not least, this was a little bit of a grail. This is the Japanese pro-use version of Abbey Road, widely regarded as one of the best pressings of Abbey Road, just in terms of audio quality. It's half-speed mastered, and here's the back of it. Pretty standard. The label itself is slightly different because it does say Pro Use on it. I'll take the record out here. Right above where it says Abbey Road, you can see it says if that's going to focus or not, but it says Pro Use Series right there. And yeah, this really is a nice sounding pressing. It's very clean, which is common with Japanese vinyl anyway. But yeah, the fact that it's half-speed mastered is nice too. And it's interesting to compare this to the Mobile Fidelity, which I also have, just because that is also half-speed mastered. And it's close. I don't know which one's better. There's pros and cons to both. The Mobile Fidelity is a little brighter, but that was common with the Mobile Fidelity releases. This one's not quite as bright, but I don't know. It's pretty close. This was out of curiosity, and I found it for a good deal on eBay. It was made cheaper because it doesn't have the Obi strip. The ones with the Obi strip go for like 3 times what I paid for this. So yeah, there we go. It's the Pro Use version of Abbey Road. I think this was the only, though there were other Pro Use albums that were released. I think this was the only Beatles one. Somebody may correct me on that. There was like some Sgt. Pepper Pro Use thing, but it's not. I think it's somebody like performing Sgt. Pepper songs. It's not the Beatles. So all right, there we have it. We got through it. Okay, 26 minutes. That was quicker than I thought it was going to be with all of that. So I think there's not going to be too many more Beatles records coming, I don't think, in the near future. I'll be showing you guys some different stuff that I've got back here in my little stash of stuff to show. So anyway, I always appreciate you guys' comments and everybody who watches. Again, if you'd like to subscribe, please hit the button below and hit the bell icon to be notified of any new videos that I post. And do check out Jamie Spinks's channel using the link below. Really nice guy, and he posts a lot of Beatles videos, but not exclusively Beatles. He posts a lot of other stuff too, and like he just posted a video about changing the stylus on a turntable. So he's definitely branching out in terms of the different topics. So all right, guys, thank you as always for watching, and until next time, bye bye.